Good afternoon. Welcome back. It's Thursday afternoon. We mentioned this morning I wasn't doing a birthday video, which I'm going to stand to. I thought about doing a set review video, and then the more I thought about it, I was like, boy, I've still got a lot of flea market stuff that has still been bundled up that we really haven't had a chance to get through. So about a month and a half ago, my wife and I went to Richmond, Indiana. There's a flea market over there. Inside the flea market in one corner, there is a card shop, sports collectibles, a lot of cards. He didn't have much racing. He had this stack that I sorted out of what was essentially a dime box or a 50-cent box or something, and he let me have them for little or nothing, just because I'm sure he wanted to move them. And we're just going to kind of go through this. I really haven't even went through this stack just to see what we have. It looked like a lot of it was from the mid-90s, so we have start off with a 97 Press Pass Blue. And I know it was called like Scorchers or Torkers, or I can't even remember. They gave them these little names, but I just always called it whatever color foil it was. So you got a blue foil Michael Waltrip. A lot of these are going to be horizontal because of the cars. Ricky Craven, Ricky Rudd. And I'm going to have to check my set list because I may need a few of these. Johnny Benson, Wally Dallenbach preview. Kelly Tanner, Touring Series champion. Derek Cope, during the Bobby Allison team's last struggling days in 1996. Bobby Hillen, driving for Jasper. That was kind of a train wreck at that time. Ward Burton. Magic Shoes, Mike McLaughlin, Busch Series competitor. Nice looking car. There's Jeff Burton. Wasn't a big fan of that scheme. It just was it's too patchwork. It just looks like it was put together in about 30 minutes. Kind of like this series, the local legends kind of has a road map behind it. You see Batesville, where Mark is from, and all the other areas of nearby Arkansas. Hermie Sadler, longtime Busch Series competitor. Columbia, Tennessee with Sterling Marlin. Another preview of Derek Cope driving the MB2 car. Kind of a stepchild car, if you will, to Hendrick Motorsports. One of the earliest, really, satellite teams, too, if you think about it. Steve Grissom moved over to Larry Hedrick. There's a nice Mike Skinner card. Of course, he was 97 Cup Rookie of the Year. Bobby Labonte, Truck Series champ Ron Hornaday. There's a good look at the Ward Burton MB&A car. We was talking about that yesterday with the birthday video of Bill Davis. This was one of the incarnations of the MB&A Pontiac. Another Bobby Labonte. Bobby Hamilton. The Jeff Gordon. It's a nice looking card. Sterling Marlin. I believe that was a rain-shortened race in 96, the Pepsi 400. May have been 95. Can't remember right off the top of my head, but it was a rain-shortened race. Ricky Rudd. Larry Mack. Oh, goodness. Ken and Logan and y'all. That's the, that's that unflattering picture of Dale Earnhardt that y'all seem to talk about and bring up all the time. So, there it is. Another, it's that same Ward Burton. Ricky Craven, it felt like a corner was bent on that, but it was not. And what I liked about this particular Victory Circle set is they kind of had the driver's likeness etched down there in that silverish, grayish portion. Johnny Andretti, Lake Speed, we talked about him. I think we even showed this card the other day. Wasn't from this stack, but it was a very similar card. Rusty, Jeremy Mayfield, Gary Bradbury, driving for TriStar. Ted Musgrave. Had to figure out which way the cage was. There's another one of Gary Bradbury. Bradbury showed some speed in that car, but they just lacked funding, and Bradbury lacked experience. Terry Labonte. And look at the... I was trying to see if the front of the car... look how low it is to the ground. That right front versus the left front. So they were just really, really starting to play with the air in the early to mid-90s. Rick Mass driving for Butch Mock Motorsports. Bill Elliott with a Monopoly car. McDonald's Monopoly. We just seen this one, a Musgrave. Sterling Marlin. Cope once again. See here, Rick Mast, Remington hauler. What else do we have back here? It's buried. That one's it's not sticking to it. It just won't get away from it. I always thought this was a pretty underrated paint job. The first Union paint job with Wally Dallenbach. Sterling Marlin. And there's that hideous 99 car of Jeff Burton. So we'll do this in 3 different stacks here. Ken Schrader starts us off. Rick Corelli, a blue foil during his Truck Series days. I can't remember who he was driving for. Darrell Waltrip, maybe? No Remax team, so that was Marshall Chesron. Bill Sedgwick, I believe he was driving for DW. Michael Waltrip. Larry Pearson was driving for Mac Martin in the Busch Series. Kyle Petty. And one thing that we always liked talking about back in the day with the Sabco cars is their numbers were kind of subscript. You see one is elevated or one is lowered. So the 40, 42, and the 46 all had numbers that were just slightly off. They didn't set even like you see the numbers here even. So it just added a little character to the Sabco cars. It's a nice car, the 25th anniversary of STP. Pat Strickland had a few good runs with the Stavola car. There's one of these weird tech cards. Talks about look how archaic that seat is. All seats must have padded rib protectors and leg extensions. So that almost looks like a passenger car seat now compared to what they have. Ricky Craven. It's a nice looking car. This is an insert. Most popular driver. Another Ricky Craven. Remington cars, those always look really sharp, I thought. John Andretti while he was driving for Cale. Chad Little in a 97 car. That was a Mark Rippon owned car before it became a Roush owned car. Craven again. Randy LaJoy driving Bill Bumgardner's car in the Busch Series. Won 2 titles in that car, 94 and 95, I believe. There's a last race at North Wilkesboro, kind of a tribute card. Ward Burton, who's he talking with? Can't tell who he's talking with. Somebody in a good wrench uniform. Rick Mast, driving for the Jackson Brothers. Jason Keller, Lake Speed. Family Channel Prime Star car for Ted Musgrave. Of course, he would be released from that ride in '98, and Kevin LePage would take over. Kyle Petty's hauler. Brett Bodine, we mentioned this, that the Close Call sponsorship came off that car at Dover in the fall of '97. Of course, they airbrushed, we'll leave Kodiak, but we'll airbrush Budweiser out, and that's always been a topic of conversation. Another Ward Burton. Mike Wallace with the multicolored Spam car that failed miserably for one reason or another. Steve Grissom. Lake Speed. We'll try to get through these as quickly as we can because we got one more partial stack there. Ricky Rudd. There's Richard Petty, 97 scoreboard, or just 96. I think this is 96. Yeah, 96 scoreboard. Phil Parsons, driving his own car in the Busch Series there. Michael Waltrip with the Wood Brothers. We just mentioned Musgrave. Ray Evernham, of course, he works with SRX. Here's another insert, scoreboard Winston Cup Rewind. And our final little stack here, David Green, Morgan Shepherd, Rick Mast. There's a good look at his #1 car. Michael Waltrip, Wally Dallenbach, Patty Moise. I believe that was the Michael Waltrip Moise Racing Team. Another Craven. A lot of Cravens in this. This was an insert. It's a sticker card of Rusty Wallace. Every card has a checklist on the back, so you know what one to look for. Richard Broom, former crew chief. There's another picture of Jeff Burton's car. I'm just not a fan of that car. It's got a lot, it looks like it's just sewn together. It's not got a lot of character. It's just, I don't know why it doesn't rank high on the ugly car videos that that all these YouTubers put out there, but I would put that near the top of my ugly car video if I had one. Sterling Marlin, Jack Roush, John Andretti. There's Richard Petty. Now, that paint scheme looked great back in the 70s when it was on the Charger. It just does not work in this format. I mean, it's a nice throwback attempt, but just the body style doesn't conform to it. It's not an ugly paint job, it just doesn't work with that body style, in my opinion. DW. Talked about Gary Bradbury, we've seen that one. We got Brett's brother Jeff there. Ricky Craven. Bobby Hillin once again. Another Marlin. We've had a few of those. I don't know if we had that card specifically, but a couple that look like it. Kenny Wallace in the 81 car, so that would have been the Philmar car. Ricky Rudd. Chad Little. Who's this? We have Jeff Burton. Randy LaJoy. Dick Trickle there, looking ready to go. Larry Mack. Mark Martin. Derek Cope. Dave Marcus. In a very, I would call that almost Interstate Batteries-esque inspired paint job. If you get and I'll have to do that. I should do a video with paint jobs that are very similar, but I think that one really mimics the 92, 93, 94 Interstate Batteries paint job that Dale Jarrett ran. I've seen that car, at least a car like it, earlier. Hut Strickland with the Stavolas. Again, that was just a pairing that we thought was going to do good, but didn't. Terry Labonte. There's a nice look. Now again, I'm not much on the silver / chrome cars, but I really like the presentation on this one and the 25th anniversary and everything, so it's well represented there. Lake Speed. Not a lot you can do with that paint job. It is what it is. Derek Cope, Spanaway, Washington. Talked about Larry Pearson a little bit earlier. Bill Elliott. There's the other North Wilkesboro tribute card. Jimmy Spencer. Michael Waltrip once again. Another insert. Race Day, Ricky Rudd. A couple more scoreboard cards here of Martin and Musgrave. Steve Grissom. Preview, 97 preview, Chad Little. Bill Elliott, 97 press pass. David Green. Jason Keller. Getting to the end here, Johnny Benson. Chad Little, once again. We got Terry Labonte. Blue foil, Ken Schrader. Another Chad Little. Nice looking car there. Johnny Benson. And who do we have here? We have Adam Petty with his Spree prepaid phone card, Busch Series car, and the Adam Petty base card. So overall, I didn't pay very much for it. I think I paid around $5 for that whole stack. Plus, he threw in the box for me to take them home in for free, and the box we know is about $1.50 nowadays. So I don't think that I did too bad with this. I'm gonna have to look and see what cards that I'm gonna need from my sets, and then we'll get them sorted out and put in my respective boxes that I have as I've been doing this little sorting project. So anyway, a little bit long video here, about 13-14 minutes, but like I said, didn't do a birthday video, so we just figured we'd throw a bonus or a catching up flea market finds. I've had these cards for about a month now. Now I can finally get them sorted. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Come back and see us tomorrow, where we'll have some more cards and NASCAR chat and whatever. So thanks again for watching. We'll see you later.